Here we are.
Oh,
Hello. Thank you so much. Your Holiness, it's lovely to see you again. Thank you really so much for joining us today. I'm Richard Layard. I'm an economist from the London School of Economics, and I'm also a co-founder of Action for Happiness. And for Action for Happiness, this is a very special day because this is our 10th birthday. And as you know, all the members have pledged to try to live in a way that creates as much happiness in the world as possible. And I think it was that message that made you decide to become our patron, which we are so. The last time that we met was when you came to London, and in that theatre, we discussed the principles of Action for Happiness, and you launched our new course on exploring what matters. And I wanted to tell you how successful that course has been. It's been taken by thousands of people, but we also did a proper randomized controlled trial to see what difference it made to people's happiness, but also to their compassion. And we found effects which were so large that we were really even ourselves astonished at them. So my most vivid memory of that launch day 6 years ago was after the event, and you were being interviewed by the BBC interviewer behind the stage. I don't know if you remember, but he said to you, "What is the single most important secret for happier living?" And you said immediately, "Warm heart." So that's my question. My first question to you, Your Holiness, is how do we make our hearts warmer?
firstly, as soon as we're born, our mother's affection, you see, that affection is key factor for our survival. If sort of baby without sort of taking care by mother, then we die. Basically, we are social animal. Therefore, you see, the affection, warm-heartedness, taking care of each other is the key factor. This is nothing to do with religion. By birth, we already have, you see, that seed. Now, education, in modern education, we should include how to keep inner peace. Our existing education, you see, mainly come from a West materialistic sort of society. So now in education, we should include how to keep peace of mind and a healthy body and a happy family.
I suppose that some people are born, as you say, everybody is, with an inner capacity for warmth, but they have some very tough experiences, and that makes them unable to respond. It gives them a cold heart as a method of defense against what might be happening to them. So I wondered if I could ask you actually how you have managed, because you have had some very bad experiences having to leave your country. You've not had an easy life, but somehow you've kept this radiance, this inner radiance, which we've all experienced. How have you personally managed to prevent these problems from making your heart less warm?
Right. Firstly, whole Tibetan cultural heritage. You see, don't harm other. Even insect from, or say, from our family. It's our tradition. When child try to catch fly or something, and then the family members say, don't kill, don't kill. So that's our habit. My family, my mother, very kind woman. And then come to India as a refugee. So that also very helpful for my life. Come to India, the free country, democratic country, my responsibility is to share my own inner peace. And that also on secular basis without religion. So I also have last few decades, I have special connection with the modern scientists. So now scientists also now realize calm mind, the basis of peace of mind is something very important, even physically. So peace of mind, that create all body element become more normal way. Too much anger, too much suspicion, then mental level much disturbed, like that. So peace of mind is very, very helpful. And then the circumstances also give me opportunity to practice that.
So if we moved on from the inner peace and serenity issue to the issue of human relationships with other people, which we know from our experience and from research, including kind of research we do at the London School of Economics, we know the huge importance of good relationships for happy living, relationships in the family, relationships at work, relationships in the community. All these things are very important. But relationships can involve elements of stress. So I'd really be interested, what in your mind is the secret of building and maintaining good relationships?
As I already mentioned, I believe entire 7 billion human beings are same human brothers, sisters. Then we have to live side by side on this planet. So if someone who show negative attitude towards you, you should feel pity. And then, in spite of their side attitude, you should keep warm-heartedness, and on the basis of oneness of 7 billion human beings on this planet, then today's enemy, so-called enemy, you see, very possible that after 1 week, after a month, will change. If the other person more negative attitude and you also respond same way, then the problem never end, never disappear. I always keep more warm-heartedness towards everybody, including those people who carry some problem on us. Keep as a human brother, sister. Things are changing.
I think it's a wonderful way of putting it. Thank you so much. So, what you're talking about is really a fundamental change in our culture. And I know that we have discussed this before, the need for secular ethics as the basis for building a new and more generous culture. So that was when I told you we were forming an organization that was going to try to do exactly that. And I think that's why you wonderfully agreed to be our patron. So we now have hundreds of thousands of people around the world taking daily action in their lives to be happier and kinder to other people. So as we celebrate this movement of ours, the 10th anniversary of this movement, what is your message to this global Action for Happiness community?
You see, your organization or your group, without religion, simply with warm-heartedness and a peaceful sort of attitude, that is wonderful, very practical. And that is almost, I think, the hope of future. If we create happy world, happy humanity, now that is the only way. You see, too much emphasis on religious basis or racial basis, and then difficult. So now your society, really wonderful. Your sort of the responsibility because of the activities, really very, very, very wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I hope that some of the members of the audience who are not yet members of Action for Happiness will be inspired by what you've said to become members. I'm going to hand over now to Mark to host the questions from our audience to you, Your Holiness. So Mark, take over.
Thank you so much, Richard. And Your Holiness, it is a pleasure to see you again. I have very happy memories from our time together in London. And as Richard has said, we have so many thousands of people all around the world taking action to contribute to your vision for a happier and kinder society. And I'm so happy that some of them are with us for this event, this special time together. And we have now some questions from the community. And our first question is from Minda.
Namaste, Your Holiness. My name is Minda Baines. I have 2 children, and my question is, what can we do to support children and young people whose mental health has suffered during the pandemic? Thank you.
Now, this illness is something very serious now. There are already many doctors, many nurses really now taking care other people, particularly children and younger people. But most important is showing affection, taking care, especially children who suffer the physical sort of weakness in order to improve that peace of mind, hopeful mind, more optimistic mental attitude is key factor. Because of the illness, the hopeless, and then pessimistic attitude, it's very sad, very bad. In spite of this illness, the mentally still hopeful or optimistic, very important.
Thank you. Our next question is from Regina.
My name is Regina, and I'm South African. My question is, how do we cultivate the type of friendship that you share with Desmond Tutu to grow just and peaceful communities across racial and ethnic divides?
Bishop Tutu, I really love him. One time he publicly mentioned he very much praised me. Then at the end is he jokingly telling, unfortunately, this person is not Christian. So you see, religion is a secondary. Important is a human being. Key factor, trust, mutual respect. Bishop Tutu, I always consider as a senior spiritual brother. Different religion, different tradition is secondary. Basically, we are same human being, and we both the practice of loving kindness and some little problem, then forgiveness. So we can develop that kind of sort of respect or loving kindness towards entire humanity, irrespective whether believer or non-believer, and believe this religion, that religion, as secondary.
Your friendship with Desmond Tutu has been so heartwarming to see, Your Holiness. The joy that you bring to each other is so clear. Our next question is from Alex.
Thank you for being with us, Your Holiness. I'm Alex, and I'm somewhat of an activist. My question comes from when I look out at the world and see what is happening. We see racism, we see climate change, and as a caring person, it starts to feel like too much, and my heart wants to close. And I want to ask you, what can I do to stay compassionate and hopeful when in a world such as this?
Now, warm-heartedness are part of human nature. As I mentioned earlier, we are a social animal. So that from birth we already have. Now we have this intelligence. We should utilize human brain. What is the best way to keep happy humanity, happy family, finally happy individual? And then, as I already mentioned, the climate condition, these also beyond our control. But so far, our own community is concerned, is always keep the sense of brotherhood, sisterhood. Now recent, the flood in Germany and some European countries. So you see people, when things become difficult, then you see people come out helping each other. That's human nature. So that's wonderful. So now we should think, utilize human brain and combine with warm-heartedness. Then I think we can create much safer world and much happier world. I feel that. Okay.
Thank you, Your Holiness. You are so right. Often in response to these terrible things, we see the greatest compassion and kindness and hope. Thank you. And a related question now about the difficult times we're in from Preethi. Over to you, Preethi.
Namaste, Your Holiness. My name is Preethi. I'm a teacher at Birmingham University. I recently lost my father during this pandemic, and my question is, what advice would you give to somebody who is grieving? Thank you.
It is really understandable. Your dear father passed away at such sort of situation. You feel much sort of worry. But then we use our intelligence. One, the ancient Indian master, mentioned, if you face some suffering, some problem, and think whether there is opportunity or to overcome that suffering or not. If there is way or if there is possibility to overcome that particular suffering, then no use worry, make effort. If there is no way to overcome, then no use too much worry. So we should be realistic. Your father passed away, very sad. But your friend, not only your parent, but also many friends. So one friend now passed away, but still a lot of human brothers, sisters still there. So thinking that way, when my mother passed away, I really feel very sad. But then that's quite nature, and no use too much worry. And instead of worry, some prayer, like that. So when one dear family member passed away, then think more deeper way, and I think now you remain, so you have to carry your parents, your fathers, also the wish, carry continuously. Okay.
Thank you.
Preethi, thank you for your question, and we all send you so much love at this difficult time from the community. We now have a question from Tanya.
Hello, Your Holiness. My name is Tanya. I'm a gardener and a nature lover. My question is, what single action can each member of the Action for Happiness community take to help make the world a happier place? Thank you.
I think, although it is some different sort of factor, but I can, basically, I always consider I'm just a human being, one of the 7 billion human beings. If I too much sort of emphasis, I'm Tibetan, I'm Buddhist, then I myself isolate from other. That is secondary. That is personal matter. Basically, we are same human being. We have to live together on this planet. With that feeling, then I can also develop a lot of sort of my friend, all on the basis of just one human brother.
Your Holiness, our final question at this very special event is from Daniel.
Hello, Your Holiness. My name is Daniel. I'm one of the 7 billion too, from London, England. Nice to meet you. My question is, I have young kids, aged 3 and 5. What's one thing I can tell them to help lead a happier life? Thank you.
So your children also is a part of humanity. So I feel in the past, we human beings, not much sort of, I think, deeper awareness how to keep peace of mind, how to keep happy humanity. Now, gradually change. Now human being more sort of experienced knowledge to keep peace of mind, like that, and a happy humanity. your child, future generation. So they have to face future. So important is warm-heartedness and oneness of 7 billion human beings. And my nation, my religion, my community, that narrow-minded thinking is outdated. Now the younger generation must think about same humanity and live together. So that I feel important. Okay.
Your Holiness, thank you so much for answering all these questions, and thank you to everyone in this community who has brought these very wise and meaningful and moving questions this evening. On behalf of all of us involved in this community, we just wanted to say thank you for your inspiration and for helping us try to create a happier and kinder world together. I would like to now hand back to Lord Layard to close our very special time together today. Thank you.
Well, Your Holiness, this has been a most amazing event. And it's lovely to see you continuing your wonderful teaching and looking so well. Of course, we've been following your teaching for decades, many of us. And I think I can say, for those of us who founded this movement, that we were inspired more by you than by anybody else to go and do that. So thank you for all the support that you've given us over the years. And thank you especially for this particular event. Your Holiness, we've adopted a new motto for our movement, which is happier, kinder, together. And I can't think of any better way of describing what it is that you've taught us. And let's hope you've actually made us happier, kinder, and together. So thank you so much, and the very best wishes to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. See you again